Hey guys, just a little preview to tell you that this video quality for some reason is really blurry in what I'm about to show you. Bear with me, I'm a busy mama and don't have time to re-record it, so I'm just gonna let it be blurry. I hope you don't mind. It doesn't impact the quality of the information, so ignore the blurriness and let's watch the video. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Bree and welcome to FemFusion Fitness, your home for core and pelvic floor fitness and women's health information. So I want to talk today a little bit about hill walking uphill. It's one of the most effective ways to really get your heart rate up and get a great, awesome workout without pounding. Now, I know that a lot of you guys are coming to my channel and my work because you maybe are former runners or you like to really get a good workout in, but it's harder. You may have some pelvic floor dysfunction at this point. You may have prolapse. You may have some other reason, incontinence, bladder issues, some reason why running is no longer quite doing it for you. It's not really working for you. So walking uphill, again, is just such a great way to get an amazing workout. But there are a few tips that I wanted to share with you that I use personally in my own experience. I am lucky, maybe that's how we'll describe it. I'm lucky enough to live in an area that has a lot of hills. Sometimes it's too much, I get so tired. But it's a great way for me to practice what I preach and what I'm about to tell you. So I have 3 tips that are going to help you with hills. So the first one is the one that requires probably the most explanation, and that is about posture. So you want to be sure, I want you to stand up actually right now with me and try something. We always want to be thinking of length through our spine, really lengthening this area here. Think of lifting the rib cage away from the pelvis, a lift, lifting through the crown of the head. So see how nice and long this guy is here. Now, unfortunately, this model isn't very mobile. The human body is a lot more flexible and mobile than this guy is. But I want to show you something. When you are standing up right now, hopefully you're trying this with me, standing up straight, I want you to try jutting your head forward like this and see what happens with your spine. Your spine shape changes and you can feel a lot of downward pressure on your pelvic floor and your pelvic organs. Now, oftentimes this happens when you're walking uphill. You'll notice that if you're walking uphill, you might kind of jut your head forward to look up the hill. Don't do that. So this kind of ties in with tip number 2, which is you do want to look down. I like to look down, or keep my gaze, I should say, my gaze down on the ground when I'm going up a hill, because that makes it seem like you're just walking on flat ground when your gaze is down. But you don't want to look your whole head down or jut your chin to look up the hill. So you don't want to be crunching down, looking at the ground, because again, that also affects your spine. But again, you also don't want to be going like this to look up the hill. So you want to retract your chin back, keep this nice tall posture that we see here. So don't let the head go forward. You want to keep your chin back, and then you can just look your gaze down. So I hope that makes sense there. I want you to try, again, hopefully you're standing up, try the difference between forward head and what that does to your spine and your pelvic organs. And also down, crunchy head, looking at the floor. See what that does to your spine and pelvic organs. And then stand up nice and tall and just retract your chin back so you're standing nice and tall, but look your gaze down, okay? So tip number 1 is to keep your chin back, and that ties in with tip number 2, which is to keep your gaze down. So chin back, gaze down. Tip number 2 was simply to look at the ground, but just with your gaze, not with your whole head. So looking at the ground again just makes it seem easier, like it's not such a horrible experience to walk up this long hill. Now, tip number 2.5 is a fun one that I learned in cross country. I used to run cross country and track in high school, and my track coach would always say to divide the hill into thirds. So when you are having your chin back and your gaze down, every once in a while flick your gaze up and keep track of where you are on your hill. If you're facing a long hill, it can be really helpful to divide it up mentally into thirds and have landmarks. Okay, this is when I've reached the first third, this is when I've reached the second third, and this is when I'm, at the top. So tackle that hill, take it in thirds. Again, keep that gaze down as you're going up the hill, but every once in a while flick your gaze up without making your head look up, and just notice how far you are. It can be a nice, easy way to help tackle the hill. So my final tip is to really extend your hip. Really push your leg back to get extra momentum up that hill and to really work your booty. So it can be easy just to kind of take a hill and not really think about it. But if you really that leg back to help propel yourself up the hill, you are gonna get an amazing hamstring and butt workout, and it's gonna give you more power to move up the hill. So breathe steadily, never hold your breath, really use your hip extension to work your way up the hill, and toe off to really work the calf muscles. So really go for it. Just push, propel yourself up the hill, keep breathing. Again, take the hill in thirds, tackle that hill, and going back to tip number 1, it was to keep your chin back and your ribs back too. You also don't want this happening. So ribs back, chin back, but your gaze down. I hope that helps you tackle your next hill and get an awesome hill workout. Enjoy this tip and definitely subscribe to my channel. And remember, as always, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.